Hello. Hello. Okay. Hello. So today I'm going to show you a very basic way to make a moving background prop that travels to a horizon rather than horizontally across the screen. This is at the request of one of the guys in the Facebook group, Joe Madden. So here we go. We're going to start with this basic drawing that I just did in my Snagit editor. It's just the shape of a blacktop street going off into a distance. I've made this a prop in my cartoon editor here. Oh, hold on a second. You notice I set the frame in my image editor the same dimensions as the workspace here to render the video in Reallusion. But that's just because I'm obsessive like that. Now I'm going to take this building prop that I had made previously. The perspective's a little bit off. You see it doesn't really line up there, but... And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move my street prop way back. I'm going to resize it so here. Now here's our perspective. So I have my road prop way in the back. We're at frame 1. Here at frame 1, this is where this building prop is. And at frame 100, I preset this, but at frame 100, I want this building prop to be down here. Now, at frame 100, it's right at the edge. If I push it just a little bit more, it goes behind the road prop. So I want it in front of the road prop. And just by pushing it back, I maintain the ratio. I have one prop that here's where it is at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. And I've pinned all of those frames. Actually, I'm only going to do it at intervals of 20, so we only need 5 props, right? Okay, and this is important because you want to take the first frame here, that position, and put it at the end right here at 101. So that completes your loop. You have 100 and you go to frame 101, which is 100 frames. So I have this one prop that goes for 100 frames and then loops back to the beginning. And I have every 20th frame pinned, right? So I'm going to create a duplicate of this exactly and show here it has also these frames pinned. Okay, I'm going to move all of these frames to the beginning, right? So now I have 2 props. One starts at 20 frames ahead, right? And they're going to eventually catch up to each other. But for this second prop, I only need the first 20 frames, okay? So I'm going to go back to the frame 1. My first prop, I'm going to copy it again. Down here, I'm going to take all of these pinned frames on the timeline, and the rest I'm going to reposition and delete the trailing pins. Now I have 3, so I'm going to go back to the first one and create another copy. And you can guess what I'm going to do here. And obviously, I'm going to go back up here to the first one. And I'm going to delete all of the trailing. So what I have here is basically 20 frames. Right? I'm going to take all of the first frames here and copy all 5 of them and pin them to the end. Okay? So you have motion for 20 frames and then they reset. That's your loop. Let me show you this real quick. To spare you having to watch me do the same thing over and over and over, I made copies of each one of these. Okay? Now each one has its own position, but I reversed it, and then I have 3 points that I have to remap, which is the first frame, and that is of course the same as the return on the loop right there. And then the last frame, which I just have to move it over to the other side of the street. And there we have 20 frames that should, in theory, now you see a slight jump there because, of course, when I did the mirrors, they weren't, the positions weren't exact. So you see a slight jump there between those two. That's just because I wasn't as precise. Again, I'm just doing this really quickly to give you the ideas. I don't have a line down the middle of the road, which I should have included, but again, this is really quick. I usually would put a line down the middle of the road and then something in the background. Maybe even another row of buildings moving, which I have not done, but I could. I've thought about it. Now I have 20 frames here and they loop. Also, you want to add another set of buildings coming in, obviously, which I didn't do. Which, okay, here we go. I just made another copy of that. And where we start is I'll pull this backwards a little bit and move it out of the frame. And then our end point will be there. And I'll copy that over. And there you go. You just have to think of it as it's not just the props, but it's the time component too. And they'll move forward 20 frames and then reset. 20 frames and then reset. Now again, you see the jump at the back. That was my own doing. So I have these 20 frames and I'm going to open my image editor here. I'm going to record a video. Okay. And I'm just going to capture this frame. I'm going to advance. So I'm going to record it. And then I'm going to advance the 20 frames. I extract 20 frames into separate ping files. I'm going to close this out. I'm not even going to save it. I'm probably going to regret doing that. Then I create a prop of the first frame. Shit. Sorry, I was doing too much. I ran out of memory. So I create a prop from the first frame. Okay, I go in to edit that prop. On the sprites, I add sprite. All the others. Okay. On my timeline here, I plot out the 20 frames onto my timeline. I'm going to collect this clip into a loop, add to action menu, and call it drive, I guess, or whatever. Then I'm going to add that to the timeline. And I'm going to put it on a big loop. And let's see how it looks. Yeah, it's kind of sloppy there on the side, but again, that's just because I was lazy. But it could be a lot smoother, but you get the idea. It was the same way I drew this prop, but obviously this one took a lot longer. I use this one a lot as a background for either a driving car, somebody running right at the camera. And here's a little behind the scenes look at how I end all my videos.
All right, we're done here.
Have a nice day.